I want to make good videos that mean something to people. I want to help people. That's like something I want to do, like Mr. Beast does, and A-Rack does, and David Dobrik does. I want to do that stuff.
What the hell you want? You any kind of artist? You obviously don't have the talent. You don't have enough respect for yourself or other people, or in what it is to express yourself. In music, or any other form of creativity, you suck. You are no talent. If you really had talent, go practice. And to get yourself a gig, you disgrace. You are everything that's gone wrong in this world. You are self-consumed, no talent, mediocre piece of shit.
My whole purpose for this is not just to be famous. I want to have an impact. Yes, I want to be an actor.
I want to act.
I'm going to be, because I'm going to manifest it into existence. Just like Mr. Beast did, just like A-Rack did, Eric Decker, just like David Dobrik did, just like any person that I look up to, Dave Portnoy.
You are nothing. You will never be anything. Never.
I want to make badass, authentic, genuine videos. I don't want to make some bullshit that doesn't mean anything to nobody. I'm slowly gaining a group that's going to come with me all the way to the top, because I'm going to be on the top. You got to have that mindset to become something, and I'm going to become something. One way or another, I'm going to do it.
You are everything that's gone wrong in this world. You are self-consumed, no talent, mediocre piece of shit. And I've earned my right to say it. Okay? I had 200,000 people in Belgrade. In 1975, I walked Bob Dylan up on stage. Who the fuck are you? I knew the Grateful Dead from 1966. Who the fuck are you? You nothing. You nothing. You are nothing.
I'm just trying to become something. I'm going to. All the people that are negative, and all the people that are supporting me, the 2,800 subscribers I have, which I'm so fucking happy that I have them. The fan base that I want are the people that support my dreams and support having dreams. I would love to have all the criticism, good advice, what to do next, and I appreciate everyone who has given me that so far.
You're flat. You can't even carry a fucking note. I don't care about your little, horn lip. This doesn't mean that you know how to play. You're flat. I'm trained classically. I'm trained contemporaneously. And you suck.
People are telling me you don't even have good content. Like, I'm just trying, and if you guys don't like it, I'm gonna come up with some new content. And right now, I kind of just want to tell you guys that right now I'm just going through trials, trying to figure out what I'm good at. I thought it was just a stroll. I thought it was just a stroll, but really it's hard work and a run. It ain't nothing it ain't no jog.
Hey, do you like to eat food? Do you like to eat 5-star gourmet restaurant food? Then you have what it takes to work in the back of a restaurant. You have the special talent that it takes for your career to begin washing dishes and scraping the grease off a professional stove, and to end up all the way at the top of the 5-star gourmet restaurant game. Yes, you. Start convincing yourself of it now. Start talking yourself into the notion that all the years of self-sacrifice and misery between you and that goal are part of an inevitable progress from obscurity to wealth and fame. You like eating bread? Do you think you'd like working in a bakery? Do you think you'd like working on a farm that produces the raw materials that eventually get made into bread at a bakery? You like watching movies. You think you'd like making movies? The difference between these examples is that there's a whole industry here on the internet convincing you that you have what it takes, not just as a creative artist, not just as a filmmaker, not just as a YouTuber, but that you have some special talent that predestines you to be among the most successful people who have ever tried their hand at this art form, just because you have a taste for it, just because you have what it takes to be a member of the audience. In short, just because you like to eat food. The printed page, the written word. I grew up around people who were in high school with me, who thought they wanted to write books, but they weren't interested in writing books. They were interested in being a famous author. They looked at the final outcome of the process of laboring in obscurity for years and researching and writing books. And they looked at the final outcome for a tiny minority of the most successful, the most wealthy, but also the most decadent and the most corrupt authors. They looked at that lifestyle and they thought, me too. But they had as little interest in writing as you have in working in the back kitchen of a 5-star restaurant. I'll always remember one of them. He was a white guy from South America who was comparing how many languages he could speak with me. And he agreed with me that Cambodian was the hardest language he'd ever studied. Not that he'd been to Cambodia, but his whole career had been scraping the grease off of that gas range in the back of one 5-star hotel and one 5-star restaurant after another. And he'd worked with Filipinos, and he'd tried to learn Tagalog, the Philippine language, while he was working with them. He'd worked with Cambodians. He'd worked with Chinese people. He'd worked with such an amazing array of people without traveling the world, without really seeing anything more interesting than what he could see out of the front window of that restaurant where he was laboring all day and all night. And he'd studied something like 7 or 9 languages without ever using a book, by the way, without even using an app on his phone, I think just over a hot stove, working with immigrants, people on temporary work visas from around the world. There's nothing special about books. There's nothing special about being a writer. There's nothing special about film, music, and there's nothing special about you. Each and every one of these things is a tool. It's held in the hand of an artist or even a political propagandist as a means to an end. And yes, even you, even your identity, especially on social media, especially on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, who you are becomes a tool. It becomes just another tube of paint squeezed out to be used as raw materials for this art form. There's nothing special about books, about writing, about broadcasting. So if you don't have a special message to deliver, if you don't have a particular purpose in picking up that tool, why would you do it? And why would you assume that you deserve to become wealthy and famous for so doing?
People are telling me you don't even have good content. Like, I'm just trying. And if you guys don't like it, I'm going to come up with some new content. Right now, I'm just going through trials, trying to figure out what I'm good at. Try and find my niche. So I'm just going to keep beta testing my content. Like, if I don't get views, I'm going to try something different.
My mom asked me a really simple question this morning that had quite a complicated answer about the book that I'm now writing myself. It's in the stage of final revisions, and believe it or not, it may now be translated into Spanish too. My mom asked, why did I choose to take on the American Constitution, American politics, as a major theme or focus of this book? It seemed like it was something outside of my comfort zone, that I was someone who researched and written about Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, China, and various far-flung places. What I tried to explain to her in reply is that although I had researched and written about all these things far away on planet Earth, sometimes remote in time, sometimes remote in space, sometimes both, I was always engaged in that research and that writing in order to change things here and now. I had a very definite idea of the difference that I wanted to make in the world, whether that was through research or through writing or through the creative arts. What I see going on the internet is a very strange sort of swindle in which you, yes, you, are reassured that your wealth, fame, and success are inevitable because of something intrinsic and special about who you are. Well, what I'm telling you in this video is the opposite. There's nothing special about you, there's nothing special about your book, there's nothing special about your music, and there's nothing special about your YouTube video. But if you have the kind of motivation that I've just described to you, if you really are trying to make the world a better place, if you're pursuing that kind of transformational social change in your research, in your writing, in your art form, then even if you lose, you win. Even if you upload YouTube videos that are only seen by 500 other people, you're going to feel a tremendous sense of reward and accomplishment. I don't describe myself as an atheist. I describe myself as a nihilist. It isn't just the Bible that I don't believe in. Any and every book that ever has been written, any and every book that ever could be written, including my own, is something I don't believe in. If you believed in your art form, if you believed in your book, if you believed in your future career as a fashion model, as a musician, as a filmmaker, believe until one day you wake up and recognize the tragedy that you're in the 99.9% of people who failed. And you failed in the process of trying to compete in making meaningless mainstream content. Content that wasn't just meaningless for your audience, but fundamentally was meaningless for yourself, except as a means to that end of trying to be in the 0.1%, in the far less than 1% of people who will achieve that kind of fame. What I'm inviting you to do instead is to think about the kind of creativity you would engage in if you believed in nothing at all. If you had no faith in yourself, no faith in your book, no faith in your film or the art form of filmmaking, and above all else, you had no faith in your audience. What then? What now? What's your capacity as a creative person to change the world, to try your hand in this lifetime at making the world a better place? And will you be a better person if you try and in your own unique way you fail? Shit, I must throw. Maybe I gotta hear that back.